friends, we are back with a new lesson today, and today's lesson is about conjugation of RE verbs. So before we start with conjugation of RE verbs, I will just give you a recap about what is the conjugation of verbs basically. See, the verb is the most important part of the sentence. Without verb, you cannot make a sentence. If you want to make a sentence just using one word, it will be a verb. And if you want to learn languages and you want to be good at the language, the more verbs you know, the more rich will be your language. So here we come to the conjugation of verbs. Generally in French we divide the verbs in three groups. So here I have written the first group, second group and third group. And only the first group is treated as regular verbs. When I say regular, this means the conjugation goes according to a set pattern. It follows a set pattern. That is why we say it is regular. Okay, so conjugation is regular in case of first group verbs. And what are the first group verbs? The verbs which end in ER. They end in ER and they follow a set pattern of conjugation. Here we find one exception, and that exception is aller, verb aller, which is ending in ER, but then it does not follow the rule of conjugation of ER verbs. It is therefore an irregular verb. It does not fall under the set pattern of conjugation. So we have this as an exception in ER verbs. Rest all the verbs are regular verbs. Now we come to the second and third group verbs. Second and third group verbs are called irregular verbs. And when we say irregular, it means the verbs do not follow a set pattern. Okay, there would be some verbs which will follow one pattern and the others would follow a different pattern. So what we do is, out of these regular verbs, we find out few verbs which follow set pattern, and then we call them regular IR verbs and regular RE verbs. Those verbs which follow set pattern in these irregular verbs, we call them regular IR verbs or regular RE verbs. So today what we are going to do is, we are learning the conjugation of RE verbs. So I'll be telling you the conjugation of regular RE verbs, and then I'll be explaining to you few irregular RE verbs also, because verbs, as I told you in the starting, is very important part for learning a language. So now, after the recap which we did about the conjugation of verbs, we are coming to our today's lesson, and that is conjugation of RE verbs. When I say conjugation of RE verbs, it means regular RE verbs. I am telling you, regular RE verbs means the verbs ending in RE which will be following a set pattern. Okay, so I am giving you the example, and that is vendre. Vendre, if you know English, vendre has come from the word vendor, and vendor is someone who sells. So vendre is to sell. The verb vendre means to sell. Now here we will be learning how we conjugate this verb. What we need to do is, we'll remove this RE. This is an RE ending verb. We'll remove this RE, and I have just written this VEND, the stem which has remained here, VEND, with all the subject pronouns here. The subject pronouns, as you know, in the previous lessons also we have conjugated it as je, tu, il, elle and on. These are the singular parts, and then for plural we have nous, vous and il, elle, plural. Now after removing this RE, we will join the endings with these stems, and we will get the conjugation of our RE verbs that follow regular pattern. Okay. So with je, it is je vends. The ending is S here. Je vends, tu vends. The ending is again S here, same. Je vends, I sell. Tu vends, you sell. Then il, elle, on vend. We need not add anything here. So it is il vend, elle vend, on vend. Okay, and you have to be careful about the pronunciation also. See, we are pronouncing it similarly, je vends, tu vends, because S in the ending is not pronounced. So when you write and somebody is dictating, you have to pay attention to your spellings, what you write. Okay, now with nous, the ending is ONS. So this becomes nous vendons, nous vendons. And with vous, it is EZ. So this becomes vous vendez. So what I have done is just with the stem, I have added the endings. So nous vendons, vous vendez. And with il, elle plural, the ending is ENT. But the pronunciation, please pay attention, it is ils vendent. Elles vendent. Okay, NT in the end is not pronounced. So I repeat it once again. It is je vends, tu vends, il, elle, on vend, nous vendons, vous vendez, ils vendent, elles vendent. Okay, so ending is S, S, nothing, and then ONS, EZ and ENT. Okay, so now I'll give you the list of regular RE verbs which will follow the same pattern of conjugation. Okay, so here we have the list, and the first verb in this list is entendre, means to hear. Then the second is attendre, that means to wait. Rendre, to give back or to render. And then perdre is to lose. Correspondre, to correspond. Descendre, to descend. Prétendre, to pretend. Répondre, to respond. So this is the list of the verb where you can just remove RE and add the endings which I told you in the verb vendre, and you can get the conjugation of these verbs. Okay, so now after conjugating regular RE verbs, the verbs ending in RE that follow a set pattern, I would like to give you some irregular RE verbs also, because as I told you, verbs are very important to learn a language. Okay, so here I am taking one irregular RE verb, and that is lire. That means to read. Okay, which is again important part of learning a language, to read. So here you will see that little bit of similarity with the regular RE verb. I have removed RE from here and just added an SS. But with il, elle, on, we add a T here. Whereas in vendre, we did not add anything. So it becomes je lis, tu lis, il, elle, on lit, nous lisons, vous lisez, il, elle, lise. Here I have just not only added ONS as we did in vendre, but we have added SONS. Okay, so here this is a little bit different. So that is why this is not following the regular pattern. So we need to individually practice these irregular verbs. And this is important to practice conjugation because verbs are important. So it is nous lisons, vous lisez, il, elle lise. So once you will write it and pronounce it, you will get the hack of it. Then there are two verbs I have given here, and that is élire, that means to elect, and relire, that means to reread. which will be conjugated in the same manner here. Here I'm taking one example of another irregular RE verb, because this is an important verb here, and the verb is prendre. Prendre means to take. To take. And the conjugation is, you'll see this part is similar to the conjugation of regular RE verb, but here it becomes a bit different. Here we have just removed an RE and just added S and nothing. So this becomes je prends, tu prends, il, elle, on prend. But here we have removed this D also, and then added the endings of ONS, EZ. So here this follows the irregular pattern. So that is why this comes under irregular RE verbs. Here what it becomes? It becomes nous prenons, vous prenez, ils prennent, double N-E-N-T, and elles prennent. Okay, I don't want to dissuade you by telling you that the irregular verbs are conjugated in a different pattern, but because verbs are important, as I am repeating again and again, once you start practicing, things start becoming easy. And when you learn the conjugation of prendre, you will automatically know the conjugation of apprendre, which means to learn. This is the name of our channel, Apprenons Le Français. Nous apprenons le français. We learn French. So it is apprendre means to learn, and comprendre means to understand. Okay. So I hope vous comprenez la leçon. You understand the lesson. Surprendre. Surprendre is to surprise. So these are few verbs which surprise you, and I think what surprises you is exciting. So don't give up. Keep practicing. You will start loving French. Okay, lastly, I couldn't stop myself to do one more verb, and this verb is metre. Again, an important verb. Metre means to put. So you see again the conjugation, the left side, the singular ones are following a bit of pattern, but here see in the infinitive form of the verb it is double T, whereas here it is only single T. So you have to pay attention here. It is je mets, tu mets, il, elle, on met. Okay, but here it is again taking double T and following the pattern. That is, nous mettons, vous mettez, ils mettent, elles mettent. So when you pronounce also, you come to know that here I am stressing on te, so it is double T here, whereas here the T and S is not pronounced. So it is je mets, tu mets, il, elle, on met. Okay, and here I have given you a list of verbs which will be conjugated in the similar pattern as metre. So it is promettre, that is to promise, and I need a promise from your side that you will keep practicing. Okay, and admettre is to admit, permettre is to permit, omettre is to omit. They will be conjugated in the pattern of metre only. Okay, so in promettre you just need to add pro before these conjugations. Similarly in the others also. So please promise that you will keep practicing and keep following the lessons. Au revoir.